wrapped up in my sleeping bag, looking out the window at Aaron's house as the sun is beginning to creep over the horizon. And the trees are silhouetted black against the emerging blue sky with the fading stars up in the sky. And I think to myself how much I hate Aaron because he's got it fucking made with this fantastic house of his, this nice little piece of property tucked away out in the backwoods of South Dakota. God, I fucking hate him. I hope he dies. I hope he dies of syphilis. You piece of shit.
So Reen made it in. He made it into several. If I recall, Reen did 4. He went to 4 different Christian singles groups. And, in fairness, you never know what's on the internet or what you hear is it true, but it often rhymes, right? I don't know about that. Yeah, I should get the source. But the internet, it's not the worst nervous system. It's not the worst radar. I'm getting some blips on our radar screen. Something's out there. It's good at detecting smoke, maybe not so much fire. But hey, there's smoke out there, so there is. And so when you take your personal experiences, not to mention all of your, again, at any point in time, you may send in a comment or a request over at assholeconsulting.com and tell me of your wonderful Christian marriage of bliss. Every married man's laughing his ass off right now, Christian or not. You may tell me, and we did. We had a young man. He was recently married. We'll talk to him in 10 years. Sounds like he's got a great gal. I'm not saying it doesn't happen, but generally we talk around, we chit chat. Before we had academic studies, people got at the tea houses and the brew houses, and women had their knitting circle. We had a pretty good intelligence network, pretty good at zeroing in, identifying problems or things as they were. And I, now senior agent at the desk, not in the field, Cappy. I have one of, I guess we could say, many agents in the field. And Reen went above and beyond the call of duty and went to 4 Christian singles events. Don't even know the dude's Christian. And he reports back. Hello, Cappy. We'll try to keep this short. No, this is where you tell us the details. This is where you light up a cigarette and you self-narrate like Humphrey Bogart in a film noir detective. I'd shown up in my junk jalopy of a truck. After lighting up a cigarette, I figured I'd better step out of the truck. Otherwise, I'd smell too much like cigarette smoke. And then the dames would complain. See, look over here. Let me tell you something here, sweetheart. This is how it's going to be, man. We're going to go into church. We're going to go worship God. We're going to get back over into the house. And then you're going to get in the kitchen. I'm going to spank that ass. You understand? Yeah. We're going to make a lot of Christian babies. You're going to like it too. See? Yeah. Christian film noir spanking films. Don't know if they've done that one yet. So no, you could have expanded, but let's go through the research he's got here. One, I would say about 2/3 of the girls were overweight. That's about right. That's assuming they're within a dating age range. 60% of young people are overweight, 18 to 35, I believe it was. 2/3, and I think somewhere down there you said it's 20s, 30s, and 40s. There were a lot of tattoos, about 1/3. Yeah, okay, 1/3 of the gals had visible tattoos. They weren't walking around in bikinis. And man, septum rings, I'd say 1 in 2. 1 in 2 women, Christian girls, good Christian girls, knows that's a septum ring, right? Get the fuck out of that church. Get the fuck out. No. If you go to church, right? Okay, I've had to go to church for, I'm not Christian, but there's been instances like a funeral or something. You go to church, you put on a suit and you dress presentably. Or are you young kids now just showing up in your pajamas and your ridiculous rabbit hat or something like that? Because God forgives all. You tattoos, I could kind of understand. Like I'll accept it, right? The septum ring, you're at a singles group and you put your septum ring in. And half of you single Christian women have a septum ring. And Reen, thank God, going to 4 of them's like, wow, this one was a crazy one. That was crazy. They were a little bit too close to the nuclear power plant. They were weird. But you went to 4 of them, and 1 every 2 women had a septum ring. Single mothers were probably only a quarter of them. As far as you knew, women are awfully quiet about that. They're really braggy on the internet. But then when it comes to dates, it's like the 3rd date. Yeah, so I had to pick up my son. What son? Oh, Teehee. Teehee. Didn't I mention that? It's a minor little detail. Like, my favorite ice cream is cherry, and I'm left-handed, and I like to collect Pokemon cards, and very minor point about my life. I have a son, it's nothing big. I outsource him to daycare all the time. Barely there. Oops, did that slip my mind? So I'm curious how you assess that, Reen. Like, did they say that? Not. I don't need another report, but I'm gonna say it's more than that because of how that's all that told you. Somehow you figured that out. Oh, on a positive note, in all the events, I'd say only 1 in 10 of the men were overweight. I think men got the message of be attractive or don't bother. That's good. That doesn't correlate with the population of men in general, but that's good to see. Out of the 4 there, maybe Christian men are starting to take agency and responsibility. That's good to see Christian men, or at least the men that attended this singles group, are taking it seriously. Good for them. Good for them. 5 out of the total, I would say women outnumbered the guys 3-1 each time. Wow. See, in my day, when we went to singles events, it was always men outnumbered women. It was always a sausage fest. And that has changed. That has changed the speed dating back then. You had a surplus of men, and girls had, I talked about that fractional reserve speed dating where the guy would pay female friends or give them free drinks to show up and act, but they were married or taken otherwise. So you had 20 men chasing 13 real single women. The other 7 were spoken for, but they just wanted to get more men in. That's flipped. That's flipped now. You girls can't find guys to show up to these dating events. And it seems to be the case here. I wonder if 1 in 10 men were over. So 90% of the men were in shape, and only a third of the women were in shape. And then half of them had septum rings. I wonder if women could improve their physique and then also say yes to dates. If that would, guys would say, yeah, there's some really cute girl. I wonder if cute girls without septum rings would get more men in the doors. I'm wondering. I'm no dating expert. I'm just a senior, about 3 days from my pension, agent at the desk, field agent Cappy. But I don't know. That would seem to me, if there were thin women who didn't have piercings in their nose, that might bring and not or and said yes to dates. And here's another and, not an or, and showed up to the dates. I wonder if more men would show up to singles groups. I'm just wondering. He's a Chinese dude, speaks very good English, and I've watched him. Kind of curious about China's economy and all that, and he's on a kick about the dating markets over there, and it's fascinating what attitude will do to deter men from what should be a lopsided market. Because if you look at when they frankly ended prematurely, they selectively ended fetus girls. Remember that? The one child policy. Communist, leftist, right? Leftist. Just want to make sure. You Democrats are still for the ending of life in the womb, right? I just want to make sure we're still on the same page. You're still the same people you are. Okay. So there was in that age group 30 million more men He said, well, isn't there like a billion people? Yeah, that's from 0 to 110 or however the oldest person in China is right now. But that dating market now is there, and there is a significant shortage of women. So you would think, well, the women would just have a field day, right? Like a 20% shortage or at least a 10% shortage. It's significant. And to a certain extent, that is true. The women 10 years ago, like house or no ring, you better have this. And they're very, I wouldn't say aggressive, but assertive. The women are. When you go on a date, it's an interview. Do you own a house? Do you own a car? What is your career profession? There is no who are you? Do I like you? It is a fucking business transaction over there. And it was so pronounced and so aggressive that despite there being a shortage of women, they can't find men to show up at various dating events because of the frankly repulsive, by the functional use of the word, the repulsive behavior of the women over there. The girls overplayed their hand. They probably could have negotiated a pretty fair deal, but they became so intolerable and so, well, I don't know, I guess repulsive, I guess mean or mercenary. That's the word. I'm so mercenary. Guys like, nah, man, I'm not. So I could see it happening here at a Christian singles group. Women outnumbered men 3-1. All right, that's still good odds. Because if half the girls, 2/3 of the girls were overweight, well, then that means 1-1. So if there's 3 girls to 1 guy, 2 of them are going to be, each guy gets 2 fat girls and a thin girl, maybe attractive, maybe not, right? So the number's still not bad. Success rate, my success rate at the events was about 5%. Now, this is interesting, Reen. We need to define terms. What is success? Events was around 5%. It would be higher if I took the fat girls and single moms numbers. No dates or responses yet from the few numbers I got. Wait, wait. Then how do you know you got 5% success? Did you just exchange numbers with 5% of the women? So out of all the women there, you got you got numbers of 5 women, and you haven't even been on a date. That's not success. That even if you schedule a date, Ring, you know this, it's 50-50-25. Whether they show up is another issue. And what are we going to, I would, just for the sake of analysis and applying a fair equality to women, a success would be if you go on 1 date. It may or may not lead anywhere after that, but getting a date where presumably you would have fun, you would engage in a social activity, something enjoyable, I would call that a success. Based on the ratio, the number of girls you asked out, the number of girls you went on a date with, just 1 date, whether it led anywhere else or not, I'm not going to worry about that, divided by the number of girls you asked out. There's your success rate. And so far, you have a 0% success rate because you have yet to go out with any of these girls. I would like an update on that. So here, let's do some other math. I would like a return on investment calculation. You went to 4 groups. I want to know your total time you spent traveling to and from these 4 things, the amount of time you spent there, the amount of time you spent texting or whatever back and forth. I want to know your total time sunk into getting 1 date per date. Like, so maybe you got 4 dates. Okay. Then you would divide all your time sink by 4. I want to know how many hours of your time, labor, and effort went into getting 1 date going through this venue or this avenue. The girls were nice for the most part. Unfortunately, as I mentioned below, with the age demographic, I think it's because they have to be now. We'll get to that later. Well, how old are you, Reen? I mean, this sounds like a great place to clean up if you're a 40-year-old guy. It doesn't sound that good if you're 23 and fresh out of college. 8. One major thing I noticed throughout all 4 events, you RSVP online. Now, what would happen is a ton of women RSVP, then they go and look at the men who say they are going. If they see men that they want to meet, they show up. If not, they just don't go. I mean, it's efficient. Why sign up? Right? Why would you sign up if are you unable to look at the men until you sign up? Well, then why even have the event in person anyway? Just do it online then. By that time, again, a lot of people say, boy, online dating really doesn't reflect the real world. I'm like, yeah, you're right. It is not a one for one exchange. But by gum, by golly, here comes well endowed Molly. Internet dating is replacing the real world of dating, and it very much rhymes, and sometimes it often coincides or overlaps. So, right, why would you, if you're not going to show up, if you're not going to show up unless there's good looking men that you have to vet online first, let's dispense with the waste of time. So you're not really there except for that one guy. Why don't you just text that guy? Then neither of you have to show up and waste time and effort. I am right here. I am so on my game that if I went to just one dating event, right, and I found out that half didn't show up or they were only showing up because of those two guys over there, I don't know if I'd be furious, but I'd be kicking myself of the time I could have spent doing something else. Go to the gym, go for a hike. I don't know. Change literally anything else. Uh, if they see men that they want to meet, they show up. If not, they just don't go. Multiple times there were close to 100 women. And then at the event, there would only be 50. So these are pretty big, serious dating events. This is not a small group of people. So it functioned like online dating to a degree. Outstanding observation, Reen. You're a very good agent in the field, Reen. Very regimental, Dean. No, you guys aren't going to get that one. 9, age. There were no young 20s or mid 20s. Man, Rolo has that epiphany phase locked down. He's not a dumb man. I know he's kind of funny looking with his do-rag and everything. You're like, look at that goofball over there. He's weird. But, the guy is smart. Mostly late 20s and early 30s, just like we would expect, laugh out loud. And I would really want to know the single mom percentage. I know you said a quarter. I'm curious, one, how you got that, and that's got to be on the low end. It's got to be on the my research when I did the book of numbers, women in that dating range, 40% were single moms. Though it could be going down because the number one group of women having children now are over 30 because IVF and all that. The teenagers are like, F this shit, I'm out, which is frankly going to be the number one thing to help young and poor people avoid poverty and get out of poverty. So that's some good news. If you want any more details or have any questions, let me know while it's still fresh in my mind. Yeah, answer my questions in an email. I'll send this to you. Oh, also, I wanted to add this as you ask sometimes. Yes, I am a Christian, always have been. Quick rule when talking to Christian women, always ask if they were always Christian. Usually they mention they fell out of it or they are coming back to him now. Will tell you all you need to know. Yeah, I'm sure they went out. They thought they're going to girl boss. They had their little fun and they came back. And the question is, how much damage did you cause? And how much liabilities did you bring on? How many liabilities did you accrue in your little escape from the church? Which I would then question the entire veracity of why they came back. They came back because they All right, there you go. Thank you for the field report, Agent Reen. Let's go to the super chats here. So link below, I have, what do I got? The book of numbers, analyzing the ROI in the pursuit of women. Very interesting. It correlates with the secular world. There really isn't a difference numerically, statistically between Christian girls and not Christian girls. I'd be curious about Jews, Muslims, and then also the Orthodox variants of all the three major religions. I'd be very curious to see what's happening there because I know we have several Muslim readers like, dude, we are getting westernized. The feminism is creeping in here. Jews, I don't hear too much about. I know Halsey, and he's Orthodox. I'd be very curious how all the different religions in the West are doing. Because God dang, Christianity, modern day Christianity in America, that is the canary in the coal mine. Bob, $5. What you say is true during the disease. My college pay half of the cost for classes to reduce the number of people leaving. Oh yeah, for the previous video, yes, yes. They guys just boycott big education. Boycott big education 2026. Go online to Western Governors University, go to the community colleges, go ASU on, go find an accredited school online, but don't attend these physical flagship campuses. Fucking starve them. Say fuck you, it's too expensive. I'm going to go build a house instead. Let me know when your tuition changes. That'd be great. We have a 4-year boycott of higher education, and every young person goes out there and builds a house. With what money? I know. You all want all the answers all the time. I'm just saying, I don't know. Go work up some money. Bob, $5. The youth have the education system by the balls and can change the price if they want to. They just need to be rebellious and organized. The youth needs to realize that there is no value in the college experience and that they are getting hoodwinked. They are getting financially screwed over. I don't know how many corpses of millennials have to be laid out in front of you Zoomers and alphas to realize that's a bad idea. Like there's this big fat boomer Professor Dragon, right? He's just so fat because he's consumed so many millennial and Gen X college students, and he's got a bone, and he's like this fat and happy dragon, and there's just corpses of millennials, and there's the Zoomer knight with his little wood sword, and he's like, "Ugh," and then the boomer dragon's like, "Oh, I can't eat another one." He's just looking at him slyly. And the boomer dragon, he's a fat, lazy dragon. He never had to chase it. They literally, all he has to do is open his mouth and put college experience on his tongue, and all like flies to a light. The young people will go into his mouth and he'll chomp, and then it'll be a very existentially dready dragon. Like, all I do, they do all the work for me. I could have been a better dragon. What if I wasn't so fat I could fly? I know my non-academic boomer dragon friends, they're flying all around because they didn't get fat, but it's just, I love the taste of millennial meat. I love the taste of Zoomer meat. They're so naive and tasty, and they give me, oh, look, they left a pile of money for me too. I just sit here. It's just so easy. They just feed themselves to me. Wonder if I could go hike with the boomer dragons in Utah. That'd be fun. Oh, wait, here comes another one. It's so tasty, though. Oh, look, more money. Yeah, blame the Republican white male dragons in the Congress. They're the ones to blame, not me. I'm just a socialist, fun, hip, cool, boomer academic dragon. You can jump in my mouth. I'll eat you too. Okay, all right. just this happy one. He's just got a gut. Leonardo Navarro, 10 generous dollars. Can you explain your hate for boomers? It's not a hate. I'd be dying of laughter. It is not. We categorize probably unfairly because not everybody is everything in every group, right? And we know this is why I provide an exception and a caveat for Vietnam veterans. Like, no, you guys are badass. And do I know good boomers who didn't serve in Vietnam? Yes, absolutely. Do I know bad Gen Xers? Yes. I know good and bad people in every group of every division you could possibly think of. However, my particular hatred of the boomers is because they made me waste so much of my life and nearly all of my youth. And it doesn't matter to me whether it was malicious or naive, right? I think most of our parents are naive, though I think increasingly, especially Gen X and millennial parents are more malicious. But definitely the teachers and the education. And if there's an intense hatred I have, it's banker corpo boomers. Oh, I could Val Kilmer, Doc Holliday all day long with the lying banker corpo boomers. They were malicious. And I think because boomers didn't love their children generation and had no respect for younger people, let alone America, and just wanted to do what was easy and popular and work as little as possible. You cannot, they failed to raise successive generations and continue to parasite and live off of successive generations. And I don't see any remorse on their part at all, or even an awareness of it. And that if I were to hate a group of people in its entirety, which I do not, but that's where it comes from. And I think, I mean, between teacher boomers and corpo boomers, because they're the ones that took the most from me. Like I will slam on the Carlson School of Management forever because it cost me tremendously what I could have had in my youth. Probably could have had some girls or something like that. And the lies like, oh, if you just do this and do that, then you make the money. And it never was delivered. It never was delivered. And I guess a third level I hate them is they took the greatest country ever and they fucked it up. They just fucked it up. And so that generally, and I have obviously, if you've tuned in, I've slammed on every generation because everyone has a despicable aspect to them. It's all laziness at the end. But that one, like, holy shit, man, you had it on easy mode and you still fucked it up. XLV, $5. God bless Reen for putting himself through this for our benefit. Well, I maybe he might meet a gal. You know, it's possible. No, fuck, it ain't gonna happen. Plop plop, 200 yen. De-inshitification funds. Thank you, plop plop. Iron Horse Reviews, $5. Only times I ever scored on a first date were Catholic match girls who claimed to be a good Catholic girls. That was back in 07, 08. Might be different now. Yeah, times were financially difficult back then too. I too got laid a lot in the aughts during the recession. Yes, I wonder why. XLV again for 10 generous dollars. The Catholic side of things is not any better. It likes to pretend, but it's really not. I could send over some casual observations, but I don't have a full field report on hand. Get a full field report on hand. Give me your observations. I mean, we can all have stories. I appreciate the stories, but if you can make general observations like you actually are in the field, yeah, report back. Because Christian or not, dudes want to get laid, right? And you got the Christian, oh, you got to get married and more Christian baby or marriage. Like, okay, what's the land look like? What do we got to traverse? And then help out your fellow younger Christian males in there. But this would help out Christian females if you wanted to listen to empiricism. If you want to lose weight and increase your don't have kids, take the septum ring out. And if that offends you, well, then I guess you're not a good Christian. See how that works? I just don't see the spirit within you. You like it when it's done to you, huh? I could be a complete lying, dishonest skis bag too. I can invoke the Lord's name and the word of God as well. Pringles can with veins, $2 driving. Good for you, man. Jenkins, tree fitty. Not the worst moment to start DCAing. Oh, dollar cost averaging the S&P 500. Yep, I've already bought some. Didn't time it at the exact bottom, but it was cheaper than it was 5-6 days ago. To the chickens, 20 generous dollars. As boomers die out, the younger generations are realizing it's not up or shut up time. When we pass that ball and chain, any idea how things will move socially or economically? There would be a little bit of good news. The boomers will, because they're such a large generation, as they start to pass on, should be a significant inventory of housing hitting the market. I'm not talking like inheritance. I'm talking houses are going to go up for sale because the boomers all have debts and all that. It should open up the log jam at the higher ranks of corporate America, but I think corporate America has been so mismanaged and has such bad employee-employer relationships. Younger people aren't going to corporate America. And to show you intellectual honesty, Gen X managers are no better. They're just, if not more politically motivated with DEI and political horse shit. So there might be a labor shortage, be a leadership vacuum. Gen X is going to get pulled up into the executive ranks. Millennials pulled up into senior management. Zoomers then maybe might start making some money. We're talking 10 years time. If we were to keep tariffs up, maybe there'd be a manufacturing base, although that really doesn't have anything to do with the passing away of the boomer generation. I also think when the millennials realize they're not going to get the inheritance, they talk about this, the greatest wealth transfer. When they realize they're not going to get that, I think that's the last they're going to realize, oh shit, the only person who would have going to be supported myself was me. And whereas I'm aware that millennials were lied to, good Lord, you guys are in your 40s. You still believe this come on, baby, light my fire bullshit? No one's coming to save you. Wake the fuck up. No, Obama did not make things all better. He just created inflation. There you go. No, Trump is not your savior. You are your savior. And they'll be 50 by that time. And I'm like, okay, we're going to work now. Are we still going to be like Robert Reich? You're going to be old gray hair. Socialism, rich people bad. And then they just blow away. Will that be your legacy? It'll liberate. I think people will finally be able to start making. I think generally speaking, wages will go up. Housing prices will have downward pressure. That doesn't mean, Zoomers, you guys going to become carpenters and build houses? You're not. You're all going to go to college. Okay, expect later the housing shortage, but downward pressure on houses should happen. And then I think you're going to get a lot of classic cars and collectibles that we can all buy on the cheap if you want such things. Ray John, $2 POAs go after red pill. Go after red pillars like Roland Rich. No, what are you talking about? What? They're all like friends. But none of us are like, oh my God, Troy Francis, I hate that guy. We're just envious of his looks and his accent. That's all. All right, that's it. Questions, answers, Asshole Consulting. I'll see you guys later. Toodles.